Okay, we are here. I'm on. I'm live. I just had to get the dog, not kick her, you know, get her away from the bowl. I filled it up this time. Usually sometimes we have slop. I think every dog owner has that where they have fixings, leftovers that, members of the family didn't finish all the way. So they go ahead and make a bowl for their dog. My dog is 100 pounds and she loves it. And I went ahead and made some dog food too. So when I made the dog food, it's just really just odds and ends in the house. Put some rice, some sweet potatoes in it. And yeah, so, and the bowl was high. It was filled to the top. And she was almost finished with it. And usually when she eats all that, she tends to throw up not too far after that. So, and you don't want to really grab a bowl while the dog is eating because they get really defensive. And she hasn't bit me, but I don't want this to be my first time. So, so yeah. So, today it's a topic, but it's not a topic, but it is a topic because, keep thinking like, how does this relate back to coffee? And it kind of relates back to coffee, but I don't think every topic should always relate back to coffee because a lot of times when you have those single subject focus type of podcasts, they tend to be dull, you know. They'll talk about something in the beginning and they kind of keep going down that hole and then they're out of topics. And a lot of times, to me at least, you don't really get to know who that person is. And I don't know why that is important to me, but I would think that should be important to you, getting to know a little bit more of that person, what they like, what they don't like, what makes them tick, beyond just, providing a good cup of coffee and entertainment around coffee. So yeah, there's a couple podcasts that I do listen to that kind of go off this whole realm. They do have a particular theme, but they first start off with like current events, things that are of interest to them, and that's what they do, And then they get into the main theme of the episode, so to speak. So yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm trying to bring myself into, and I think it's more natural that way, and I like that. So yeah, so usually whenever I do have topics, which I haven't had in a long time because I just talk, is that I think about the nature of that topic, if that makes sense. And sometimes I do write notes down, but for the most part, I don't, just because I live it. Somebody always says this where it's easier to talk about things when you've actually lived it. You can actually tell if somebody's true or authentic and all that good stuff when they let you know that they have lived it and all that stuff. And you can tell. So this is what this topic is, and I hope that you do enjoy it. So before I got on, every morning, I actually got up a little bit earlier to do this because I have to do some other things right after that. But every morning, the first thing I do is not drink a cup of coffee. It's not really to wash my face. It's to work out. I train, as in the fitness industry, they will say train over working out or exercise every day. And it's been like this for the past couple of years now. I used to do, 4 to 3 days here and there. But I think one of the reasons why I started to train every day is because I saw this thing and it was pretty intriguing. It was challenging. It's still challenging right now. Is like squat every day. And if you don't know, a squat is where you usually have weight around your body. Usually it's a barbell and it has weights on it. And most of the time, it's on the it's on your back. And just recently I started doing front squats. Still, I think it's a lot better but I don't put it on my collarbone, and the weight isn't that heavy, so I can still hover it around the front side. I'll start to do the collarbone thing, but right now I am liking the way the progression is going. And you put a couple plates on there, depending on how strong you are, and you squat. You go down as low as possible as you can comfortably do, and then you go up. And of course, there's variations with it. There's box squats, pause squats, wide stance squats, narrow stance, tempo squats, on a incline, things like that. So there's so many different variations to it. And just recently, like I mentioned earlier, is that I started doing front squats, mainly because that's one of the things I haven't done. And it was a big eye opener. My body was sore for at least a week. And one thing that I did notice as I went back to back squats, mainly over the weekend, I was a lot stronger. And I think that is because I'm using less weight. It's more concentrated. And I'm actually working different muscles in the front and the back squats, even though they're relatively the same. But you're more so like fighting or trying to keep that bar upright while you go straight down. And I think it does help with the back squats. Let me get not too much in the weeds with all this back squats, front squats, variations, and all that stuff. But yeah, I work out every day. And one of the reasons why is the catalyst was the, squat every day type of thing. And I've done that for about 3 years now. And it's going well. Sometimes when I vacation or not next to the house, because all my weights are at home, I squat. I do body weight. I do all that type of stuff just to keep it going. And I do other things too. I do the full body. Certain days I work on my calves, believe it or not. I do. And today was my push day, so to speak. I did side barbells for my side delts, my shoulders. I did push-ups, slow, controlled as much as possible. I don't think I am getting a lot stronger on that, so I will see where I can add more weight or slow it down even more. I do dips. Sometimes I do it with weights, with a dip bar, like 40 pounds, kettlebell that I have. Or a lot of times, like today, I just did a body weight dips, and then I did tricep extensions, and then I finish it off usually Monday through Thursday. I have a angled box. I don't know what the name is, a slant board, and I do 30 reps of squats, more squats. I just do it for those 4 days, and then the last 3 days I tend to get off of it, and I just finish off with different other exercises. And usually on Wednesday, that's my hard days where I would do weighted composite squats, wide stance squats, good mornings, deadlifts, squats. That's brutal, and really a lot of people don't recommend doing squats and deadlifts at the same time. I've done that before. I think it was more intense last time, but it's still a different way of going about it. And I also trained my hip flexors because early in the year I did have a injury to my lower lumbar. I don't know what it's called, L whatever, but I did tweak it when I was doing squat. Goes back to squats all the time. But again, there's variations in my workout, and it's pretty cool. And don't get me wrong, I don't look forward to it every day, but I do it every day. And I think that's more so the power in what it does. It's certain days are easier than others, but the act of getting up and that's the first thing you do, and it just helps out in everything. It really does. And the reason why I actually really started working out is because I was extremely overweight. I mean, the last time they did weigh me, I did look at it. It was like 285. 285. Yeah. That was a couple of years ago. And now I don't know how heavy I am. Of course, the doctor is saying, oh, this. but I have a lot more muscle now. I don't fit in those same clothes. I'm a different build now. I have more muscle compared to what he's used to looking at. But yeah, it helped out quite a bit. I was big into walking. I still am. I love walking more so for meditation purposes and just to get out the house and just to be more mindful of what I'm going through. But working out has really transformed the way I go about my days, how focused I am, and how energized I am. And it's one of those things where if you get the hardest thing done first, then everything else is more so butter. It makes sense. It's a lot more manageable and it's more focus driven. I don't know how that really so much relates to coffee. It does because it's helping me just get more things done and stay more in line with what I would like to do. But again, it's one of those things to where I'm focused. I have something to look forward to. I know it's going to be a challenge. And I know with time, I'm going to get better, And I am dealing with this one ankle. I wouldn't say an ankle sprain is something to where it just kind of like excites the impact when I walk sometimes. And I'm dealing with that right now, but I know I'm going to figure it out. And it just gives me that sense of clarity. That's the right word, clarity. I'm not like confused on the things that I need to do, even on things that I think that I'm unsure about. I know that as I keep going into this, I wouldn't say rabbit hole or just this journey of the unknown, it it gives me that sense of focus and dedication. And it's something that I do look forward to all the time, you know? And I don't know, I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm not trying to tell you you need to work out too for whatever reason that you do or want to or not want to. But I know you do have something, or if you don't, you'll get something to where it just channel your inner thoughts and your inner like drive to keep doing more. Again, I'm not trying to get preachy, but life is interesting, right? You're here, you're there, you're focused, you plan for the future. You save money. You if you have kids, you see what they're up to. You help them out. You try to teach them and all that stuff. And then you're just gone. It's just kind of crazy, right? And there's a lot of things that you can focus on and do. And I think that's what it does for me. It really provides I won't say narrow, but more focused view on things that are important to me, like coffee. Coffee is important to me. And it helps me to cut out the stuff that's just there, you know, that's just literally just there, that doesn't do much for me. Sometimes it does do some things for me, but it keeps me honest. And I like things to keep me honest because it keeps me on the path to where I know that this is the path that I want to go on, not so much of a path that somebody else wants from me. So yeah, so that makes any sense, that's kind of like where I'm at with this. And I'm sure there's going to be a part 2 about me working out 3 or whatnot. But I did want to get it out there because I wanted to let you know that working out, exercising, training is a big part of what I do. And it is extremely helpful as I navigate through the craziness of coffee journey, life journey, and just things in general. It channels me. And yeah, so I hope that you got something from this. Sometimes I think about just rambling, and I do like the rambling part, but having a topic and talking about it and giving you something of focused and something that I think all of it's helpful. And sometimes it could just be just straight entertainment, which is perfectly fine too. We need those things, and not everything could be like focused, centered all the time. And this is my podcast, my message to you and how it relates to you. And hopefully you get something from it, like I said before. And that's it. That's all I got for you for today. It's Thursday, December 21st. And I think I have another one next week or Sunday. I don't know what you guys usually do. Do you do Sunday start or Monday start? I know it depends. Could be a topic of controversy. But I did want to let you know that this podcast is actually the 31st one so far. I didn't mention it because I guess I wasn't really that much on my radar, but I've been working on the flow of everything and yeah, the workflow and doing all that good stuff. And yeah, so it's been good times and I got all of the podcasts up right now. I think what I'll do is that I'll do a Sunday dump. Thursday I'll just go ahead and do my thing, but I'll do a Sunday dump to where I'll get the two podcasts that I've worked on and I will go ahead and process, edit them, get them ready for the website, and then usually two will go up on the website on Sundays. I think that's the best way to do it instead of doing it every day. I'm just trying to be more efficient with my time. But yeah, it's interesting now that I do have a good workflow, good system. Now I can go about seeing what's in front of me and figuring things out that way. And I hope that it is helpful towards you, to you, and that you are getting some benefits from what I'm doing. And podcast is just one of many different areas that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on videos. I need to figure out that system. I'm going to focus on writing, which is a love of mine. We'll talk about that in the next couple of whatnot. And then, of course, you got voice and audio and, that stuff. So there we go. Talk to you later. Bye.